Hello and welcome to a very early on mapping update. So I've been doing T3 maps and it's so far been fairly easy. I have had a handful of deaths. I believe I was at 39 in the last recording of clearing the campaign. A lot of my About like 10 of my deaths so far have just been from Balbala because I was testing Balbala to make sure that she was indeed bugged before I finished the campaign, and then also doing the whole like the trial of Sukumas because it's awful on melee. I was trying to learn all the fights and the patterns and like the lower tier ones, even though I have my second ascendancy. Now the current game plan is to just overgear and then eventually do the T3s. This is the lowest T3 that I have, so what I'll probably end up doing is just running some of these 66 T3s. Additionally, I might run some of the ultimatums instead, just because I do personally think ultimatum is easier, but that's just me. Melee problems with trial of Sukumas. But if I can run these and at least get like some better relics and then take those relics into the lowest tier that I actually have, that'll probably be the best gamble and pay off. So that's the intent with my thoughts on getting my third ascendancy. For the third ascendancy, I'm obviously going to be going Waking Dream. The mana leech node is honestly kind of debate in my opinion. The only way that I think that this is ever going to be good is if you were to do where is it here, Eldritch Battery converts all energy shield to mana. I don't know if this means that like that second node is basically going to double the mana recovery, if it would then become 28% if you went full into the breach stuff. But I don't know for certain. That's if anybody out there is doing any Eldritch Battery, Mind Over Matter type stuff, I'd actually be genuinely curious to see how that pans out if you do run the consuming questions. Because I do have questions about that interaction. Additionally, this is just what the generic tree is looking like. Eventually we will be going, or I should say I will be going, because I honestly don't recommend anyone ever play Chayula, but that's just me. Eventually I will be going crit. The game plan right now is to get some strength nodes so I can use some of the more like strength based stuff. My stats right now are fine. I have enough dex, I have enough int. This node plus these nodes are kind of carrying my dexterity. I dropped my mana stuff just to test out how consistent this mana gained on kill has been for general map clear, and it's been fine. I haven't ran out of mana flasks, even though I do occasionally need to press my mana flask. So I think getting some mana gained on kill is really the way, and this is only a T5 roll, so the higher tiers is probably like into like the 50 plus, maybe even like 60 plus mana gained on kill. So I think just having one of these mods in your gear is going to help you out tremendously with the mana sustain issues. Additionally, I got a better staff. I have been saving up any drops and then like over time crafting them, etc. Some of these bases are a lot better than others. As you can see, the advanced crescent quarterstaff is a lot worse than the advanced slicer or slicing. And the Gothic is kind of just like it has higher min but lower top end, and then it has higher crit. So I think going Gothic is probably the best staff. I haven't looked at like PoE trade to see like that difference, but as you can see, the int and dex requirement is a lot higher on that expert than the advanced slicing. I don't know if that's just because this one says it's expert Gothic. I know there's advanced and then expert. I don't really remember what's past that. I've been picking up like all sorts of different bases to eventually recombinate. Additionally, I really want a good unset ring, pretty much with like some res and some wife on it, and that would help out my build tremendously with the potential direction that it might take. Currently in my hideout here, I have Ice Strike linked with Crescendo, Concentrated Effect, Martial Tempo, and Close Combat. The Close Combat isn't affecting the tooltip DPS, but it's basically just, it's permanent 25% more attack damage. They're always going to be standing within that meter radius, and 1000% with the Concentrated Effect. Concentrated Effect is a really good potent support for Ice Strike, and it's very generic. Other than that, everything else has stayed the same. I've started to actually be able to level up like Grim Feast and Ghost Dance and Wind Dancer to higher tiers. I additionally put quality on my Wind Dancer. I forget all the gems I put quality on. I believe it was Charge Staff as well. Yeah, Charge Staff. So it just lasts way longer. Even without having extra power charges, it's like into the 30 seconds. Additionally, I've figured out some pretty interesting stuff. Where is it? The inevitable critical. Even if you, like, just the placement of the bell, it sometimes crits. So every once in a while, I'll walk into a pack, and if like a rare is surrounded by a ton of mobs, all I do is I put Shattering Palm down. If I can, I place the bell, and sometimes that will literally clear out the rare. So that's pretty interesting that will sometimes happen. The Shattering Palm is 1000% like hitting the Tempest Bell. So putting the Calling Strike and the more area of effect and Ice Bite on it is pretty insane. It has its moments. Generally, it's not that great, but it definitely has its moments. It's incredibly helpful in like Breach. It hasn't really been helpful in any of the other League mechanics besides Breach, just because Breach has insane density. But sometimes in Delirium, I was getting some good pops. I think Shattering Palm is honestly just... I don't know the full like scaling of Shattering Palm versus Herald of Ice, but if you use both, it can definitely help your clear speed tremendously. And then I've got Arcane Tempo here on my Frost Bomb. The other thing is I did corrupt another Ice Strike, and this one actually got to the 4 sockets, so I switched out of the other one that was just corrupted into plus level, and so now that's how I got my 4 link. And then just today alone, in like the last hour or so, I've dropped 2 of these, so that's great as well. I'm just gonna stockpile up my Jeweler Orbs, see where it takes me, and we'll get into the showcase here. So it's a non-crit build, and this map is actually alked, dropped alked. So hopefully I don't die. I haven't ran a alked boss fight yet. My main goal has been to just put the highest tier that I have into any bosses, do the boss, and then move on with my life and go back to doing the quests as like the regular like map tiers that I put in. And normally the game plan, at least in my opinion and experience, as well as just like watching other people do these maps, is you kind of just hug a wall and you just go around until you like hit a dead end, and then you snake back, because most of these layouts, they do actually loop back. A few of them don't loop back, and some of them just have like a lot of dead zones, like stuff like that. And the like beach style maps are so much better than a lot of the others. There is one that is like kind of really open, that's like in a darker area. I forget the name of it, but like Decay, Seepage, all these other maps are just like, I don't like them. So they definitely make some of these layouts like really annoying, especially with a lot of shit like this, and then like these explosions going off, like all these mobs over here, and I can't like get to them easily. It's that's really annoying, and I expect like higher tier maps to be way more rippy because of just the terrain, not even the monsters, just literally the terrain. I'm picking up any of the expert stuff as well as like staves, and I dropped one of the uniques that it's a helmet. It has flat energy shield on it, and then it gives you like percent increased like extra ES based off of your total life pool. And I'm thinking that maybe that could be an interesting like build path. It also has mana on it, so mana is nice quality of life, especially when you get like the Into the Breach, where you just naturally will leech a little bit of mana while clearing. Combine that with like some of the mana gained on kill effects, and probably be a lot more comfortable in the mana department as the level of the skills go up. And I'm picking up all the waypoints just to 3-to-1 with Recombinator. Combinator is really good. Here's the map boss. Here's all the map mods. That's really hard to do, but you can chase them. For whatever reason, I end up getting this boss fight way more than like any of the others. So that's basically how the map clear goes. A lot of these map mods, like the reduced crit, doesn't even impact me because I'm currently non-crit until I get enough passes to go crit. So pretty comfortable mapping. I don't have any stun avoid, and my charm is a rarity on kill, so I don't know if that's like the best charm to use. I don't even know if it's like actually working, because it says like on kill, so if you kill a rare, does it actually apply the rarity bonus to it? I don't think so, but it's been pretty interesting. Maybe if I get like higher density, as well as like what is it called, the like the more rare in your maps, or like duplicated rares or whatever it is, maybe that'll make it worth. I don't know. Additionally, there is a what is it called? One of the body armors that's for evasion. I might be using that if I can do the whole, what is it called, the like helmet. I'll show the helmet here after I finish up this map. But my thought process with that is the slowing debuffs is really annoying. Unfortunately, I'm so used to playing like tricksters that anything that like, wow. That dude almost killed me. I'm so used to playing trickster from PoE, so like getting slowed by things is like one of the most frustrating things. Not as frustrating as stun, but it can be in certain boss fights. But like, if you have like slowing ground effects, you're chilled. You have one of the like proximity shields. It's so frustrating to deal with. And I'm not doing the, what is it called, that shit. I honestly hate that league mechanic naturally. Rituals. Chaotic boils grow and explode when touched. Yeah, just a lot of their shit is just chaos damage. Even though I have decent chaos res, it basically just ignores evasion because it's like ground explosions. I don't think ground explosions ignore evasion. I don't think they should, but I'm not a game developer, I'm just a player. Like if a, what's it called? the like explodey mobs, they explode, like it's their ability, so you can actually evade that now, because evasion applies to like spell hits, but the general map, like ground effects and explosions, I'm like 99% certain you can't evade. You'd have to take 70% less evasion and then can evade all hits. So pretty frustrating, but I'll show the unique that I'm alluding to here. At series to stain, 20% of damage taken bypasses energy shield. So really, like, getting higher life is important, but basically I could go like full evasion on all the other armor pieces besides the helmet, and then focus on life and evasion rating instead of just like life, evasion rating, and like basically praying that I got either one of those two, because currently that's kind of how it feels. Eventually I do think that this might end up being pretty good late game. But we'll have to see. Maybe there's a Chayula out there that has played with this or has built around this. If you have, please share that information. It doesn't decrease your maximum life. It just gives you like a boatload of evasion. Like it literally doubles my energy shield. It literally doubles it from where it's currently at. So it means that I basically wouldn't have to focus on a hybrid chest. I could just go pure evasion, pure evasion, pure evasion. So none of this hybrid shit. These boots are really, really, really good. I exalted the stats and the life on them. These gloves are replaceable, belts replaceable. Body armor is decent, but like the base body armors at this tier of maps is way, way, way higher for hybrid. That's not a good example. Where is one? Maybe in my bases tab. Yeah, this is expert waxed jacket. It's like 90% of the way there to what this is, and this has 120% increase on it. So pretty bad chest. It needs to get replaced, but I'll focus on crafting more stuff later. Like the damage and everything, it feels fine for now, like at least while leveling up and filling out like the quest stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Just a quick little update. Maybe I'll do another update tomorrow on where everything stands. If anybody has any ideas or feedback, any of that is always greatly appreciated. Additionally, what was his name? I want to say it's... I can never remember his YouTube channel name, but I want to say it's No Name HQ. He put out a video the other day. For whatever reason, I didn't see it, but he put out a really, really, really interesting take on going Chayula, and his build looks pretty solid. Doing a lot of DPS for like the higher tier maps, like the T14s and T15s. I want to say he was like doing a monster level 79, as damage looked completely fine. He was using the lightning wave attack and clearing with that. Every time I look at it, I just think like it's basically like you might as well just like put a golfing MTX on this, because you're basically just like swinging a golf club. That's what it always looks like to me. But yeah, his video has a ton of information, pretty detailed on like how the mechanics and everything. He's using the 3 Dragons helmet, which I do have, and I don't know, maybe I'll kind of do something based off of either one of the helmets. Essentially, his lightning damage was freezing, but still doing lightning damage, and then his fire and cold were contributing to other modifiers. So pretty interesting way to build a Chayula monk. And yeah, just a different take. I've always liked three dragons. Three dragons used to be like a pretty useful item like 10 years ago in PoE. So it's nice to see somebody trying it out and making it work in PoE 2. Basically, it's kind of a dead slot, similar to the Ed Series Disdain, but I think Ed Series Disdain is just generally a bit better, depending on how the damage taken bypassing ES is gonna impact you. Don't know, haven't done any late game stuff, so I just don't know how any of that's gonna work, but I think with like Grim Feast and having like a big comfy ES pool combined with like the Into the Breach nodes where you leech both like mana and life, obviously not leeching back the ES, but the Grim Feast will just generally leech back the ES while you clear, and then you have Ghost Dance on top of it. So I think that could end up being a fairly comfortable playstyle, depending on how much total life and ES you can get out of it. Additionally, there are these mana damage nodes. So you could take Lucidity, and then I want to say it's over here. Yeah, it is over here. Is it just those nodes? No, it's this node. No, that's Recoup. So I guess you could like anoint Adverse Growth maybe? 20% of damage taken recouped as mana, and do like some interesting like mana like absorption, like to absorb a layer of the damage. It's kind of like Fortify, but as long as you have mana, it'll work. But if you go you're probably fucked. But I mean, the helmet has base mana on it. Getting like some life, mana, and evasion on pretty much every single prefix on your body armor could end up being pretty good. Additionally, there's like mana amulets, and like mana can get really, really, really high. Let's see here, my usable tab. So like this pair of boots here, it has 156 mana. This is a T11 mod. I don't know if T11 is the highest. I honestly have not looked at like PoEDB for like modifiers and stuff, but 150 is a lot. Like if I just replace this with that, and then if I were to get like some what is it called, like percent increased mana on the tree, like you could very easily reach like 1,000 or 2,000 mana with like very little investment. So maybe a good defensive layer, I honestly don't know. I haven't obviously tested any of it, but yeah, that's the current state of the build. Pretty interesting that your default attack, even at this gear curve, is still doing like roughly half the amount of damage with 0 links. Actually more than half the amount of damage with 0 links. At least on the tooltip. Obviously this is a lot higher because of close combat, but it doesn't really simulate the total DPS that the build is doing. And if you get lucky sometimes with like dropping the bell, dropping your frost bomb, like, and you get lucky with this reality rending, sometimes I just completely nuke. Like I see like 80k hits and I'm like, that's definitely reality rending, and the bell and all the wither effect in the build going off. So it'll be interesting to see how well that scales into the late game with better gear, better staff, going crit. Imagine you can probably get off like 500k plus hits, like even with like jank SSF gear like I have. So yep, that's it for this video. See you in the next one. Peace.